Today's words of wisdom are to be willing to fail your way to success. I want you to be willing to fail your way to success. That's what we're going to be talking about very briefly on this video. I want to welcome you back to my Words of Wisdom series. This is episode number 19, and my name is Rob Moore, award-winning author, leadership expert, and founder of therobmoore.com. And I help people show up, step out, and shine so they can perform better and become leaders who shine. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this subject today is because of some coaching and mentoring I have been giving my son over the past few weeks. And the thing about school, like right now he's in 8th grade, he's in the middle school, and one of the things that I didn't know when I was going to school, and I kind of learned over the past few years, is that, you know, when you go to school, they really teach you that making mistakes is not a good thing. Why do I say that? It's kind of pretty obvious, but you know, every time, you know, you have a homework assignment and something's not right, you get marked off, you get penalized, and you lose points for making mistakes. You know, same thing with quizzes, same things with tests and exams and all that kind of stuff. So we are like taught, you know, at a very early age, you know, sometimes, most of the time, even before we even go to school, you know, we are taught that making mistakes are bad. But a highly successful person, somebody with a high level of awareness, realizes that failure and making mistakes is actually a part of the process. And not only that, you learn a lot more from making mistakes than you actually do of your successes. And that is a phenomenal thing, you know, to think about. You know, just think about that right now. You know, why is it that 99.9% of people, you know, are not where they really want to be in life? And a lot of it has to do with a lot of things, but one of the main things is, you know, every time they make a mistake, you know, they look at that as being a bad thing. But making mistakes is actually good. And let me just talk to you a little bit about some of the philosophy that I was sharing with him. You know, I was trying to teach him how he can get the highest grades he possibly can in school. And what I told him is, you know, it really all starts with the lectures in the class, you know, because the teacher is teaching a lesson, right? So you got to pay attention, get engaged, and participate with the information that's being shared. And you want to master that material. And if there's certain things that you don't understand, you want to ask questions. And guess what? Every time you ask a question and you get it wrong, you learn from it. Because when you get it wrong, then you get to find out what the right answer was so that you don't make the same mistakes in the future. And then, you know, the teacher gives you homework assignments. So you go home and you start to work on this work at home. And, you know, your homework gets graded, but it doesn't count as much as like a quiz or a test or an exam would, you know, as far as points, it wouldn't hurt you as much. So you get this homework, you take it home, and you take what you learned in class, everything that you learned in class, you look at your notes, and you do the homework to the best of your ability. And when you bring it in and it gets checked, guess what? If you get some things wrong, you know exactly where you need to zero in on in order to get better. So when you get certain questions right, you know what you got right. So you don't have to really focus on that stuff too much. You need to focus right where you made the mistakes, because that's how you learn. And then if you do that enough where you get a full good understanding of the lectures, you get a really good understanding of the homework, chances are very high when there's a quiz, you're going to do extremely well on that quiz. And then when you take these quizzes and you get certain things wrong, that's an opportunity to tell you, give you feedback of what things you thought you knew, but you didn't really know. So the things that you got correct on the quiz, you don't really have to focus on that too much. You got to keep it ingrained in your mind for future reference, but you know exactly where you need to focus your energy. Okay, I got these 3 questions wrong, so I need to focus on this and master this. And then when it comes for like a big test or a unit test, if you can go through all of those things that you've gone through, the class participation, the class lecture, the homework, the quizzes, and really focus on the areas where you were struggling on and correcting yourself and learning from your mistakes, when it comes down to the test, you're going to do extremely well. So if you just follow that process, that same process really applies to life in general. You know, nobody's perfect. You know, you can look at the most highly successful person in the world. You can look at the best athletes. You can look at the best business people. You can look at the best entertainers in the world. I don't care what it is. Everybody goes through failure. Everybody goes through a struggle. So just understand, when you're making a mistake, that ain't nothing new. Let's go back to something that's very common to most people. Let's look at walking, matter of fact. When you were a kid, you know, I don't know if you remember, I know I don't remember when I was a kid learning how to walk, but what would you do when you're learning to walk? You know, your parents stand you up, you know, and they hold you up, and they're holding you the whole time, and they're trying to get you to walk towards you. And then as you start to do it a little bit, they start to let you go a little bit, and then you fall. But what do? They put you right back up. They put you right back up, and they just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you start to kind of get it. And then they just stand you up, and then they get you to stand. You know, they teach you how to stand, and then they get you to walk. And when you take that first step by yourself with no support, you fall down. But what do? They put you right back up, and you keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And what's happening with the baby, every single time they go to do something, like they take that step and they fall, they're learning everything that they're doing. Every single step, every time they stand up, every time that you call them, they're learning. And the way that people learn how to walk is by learning from their mistakes. So the process is really simple, and the process is pretty much the same for everything in life. Same thing, learning to ride a bike. I don't know of anybody in the entire world, I know I definitely wasn't one of them, I don't know nobody in my family who was able to get on a bike without training wheels, no experience, and just be able to ride a bike successfully without falling over and over and over again. That's just how it is. Failure is a part of the process. You have to fail your way to success. So whenever you decide what you want to do, you have to keep your eye focused on the goal and keep going, no matter what. It might be easy sometimes, it might be hard most of the time, but the key is to keep going. Understand that failure is a part of the process. You see, most people, when they're going towards their goal, or they're going in a certain direction that they want to go through in life, they make some mistakes, and they think that since they make these mistakes, it's not possible for them in order to do what they want to do. That's not true. Be willing to fail your way to success. And I heard Jay-Z say this on one of Oprah's master classes, and I mentioned it before, but he's the one that I really learned this from. He said that I learned everything from my failures, and I really learned absolutely really nothing from my successes. The successes are phenomenal. They're great. They feel good, but you don't really learn from success. You learn from failure. So that's the advice that I wanted to share with you on this video. Be willing to fail your way to success. And if you like this video, feel free to like it. Leave me some comments.